Have you ever heard a story about a garden full of roses and a moonflower? No? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Once upon a time, there was a garden full of roses. And in this garden full of roses, each rose had such beautiful petals and was blooming in this amazingly red, really deep and fabulous colors, and everyone was prizing the roses. But there was this one flower that could never open. Everyone was wondering why there is a flower that could never open in a garden full of such beautiful roses. They were asking the flower, why you are growing in a garden full of roses, where you don't look like a rose and you don't open up like a rose. And one night, they wanted to cut the rose from the garden. They wanted to sell this flower or cut it out completely. But the gardener gave it one more chance. One night, under the moonlight, this flower bloomed. It appeared to be a moonflower, not a rose. It bloomed so beautifully that with its scent, it attracted completely different type of crowd. It was the most beautiful flower they could ever see. The gardener couldn't believe that this flower finally opened, and he said to it, "My moonflower, I'm sorry that I didn't believe in you. And I'm sorry that I planted you in a garden full of roses when you're a moonflower." Hello, this is Malvina. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to start with this short story because it's so beautifully explained me as a person and this channel. And welcome to my channel for those of you that haven't seen me before, and welcome back for those that are already subscribed. I wanted to make a little announcement that I am changing a little bit of strategy of this channel because I am going to India and I'm trying to find my life's purpose, being a moonflower. And I haven't found a garden full of moonflowers yet, so I'm off to go. And in today's video, I want to share with you 5 mindfulness habits that I adapted after living in Japan for a couple of months. If you're interested in this type of content, please continue watching this video. So let's dive right into it. First habit that I wanted to talk about, it's called Harahachibu. Harahachibu. It means to eat until you are 80% full. So Harahachibu means moderation, body awareness, and grounding yourself. So eating with intentionality in receiving the meal and getting the food inside of your body, having it as a fuel, you know? First thing I wanted to talk about is how Japanese people eat. Japanese people are known for longevity and very low health problems comparing to the Western society. And what is interesting specifically about Harahachibu, that this habit originated in Okinawa. And Okinawa is on the south part of Japan and is one of the world's blue zones. And blue zone praises itself for the longevity of its people. What was extremely interesting for me is that scientists, when were studying the blue zones where people live the longest in the world, and they discovered that one of the tips that they can give to other people and habits that Okinawan people from Okinawa have is that they eat until they are 80% full. It's extremely interesting, guys. And if you're interested in other blue zones, there is a great documentary even on Netflix I will put it in the description of my video. This is exactly what we should do if you want to stay healthy and happy and fit. Eat until you're 80% full. It's very simple, but if more people would adapt this habit and incorporate this into their life, I think we can live much longer. Second, Oinori. Oinori means, I'm sorry for my English accent. Oinori means daily prayer and moment of gratitude. So I started talking of my first habit, which was strictly connected to eating. And this one can be also connected to eating. It's like Oinori means a simple prayer. It can be religious, but in Buddhism, it also means something extra, like being grateful and humble before eating a meal. So, Japanese people, before eating any meal, they would say itadakimasu, and they will bow a little bit. And this means that they are humbly receiving the food that they're gonna eat. It's like a symbolic mindfulness habit that they do just automatically to appreciate what they will eat. And I think in nowadays society, we tend to eat in a hurry. We tend to eat even when we are driving to our work or behind our desk. And this simple way of appreciating the food that we have on our plate and being grateful that we can eat that will rewire our brain slowly towards mindful consumption and also noticing how do we feel about after eating a meal. So like, does the meal have all of the nutrients, and do we feel maybe sluggish after eating a lunch or after eating dinner, or do we feel energized and right now we can conquer the world? I think it's a simple practice that can get you very far. And after the meal, they say gochiso sama, which means basically thank you for the meal. And it's on the West, I noticed people, of course, also say bon appetit or enjoy your meal or smacznego in Polish, but we say it for other people to enjoy their meal. It's not like guest appreciation for the meal itself, for yourself, that you appreciate the food that you're gonna eat. It's rather for other people. And I find it really impressive, and this simply works for me. What do you think, guys? Another habit that I incorporate from Japan is wabi-sabi. Perhaps you have heard this term already, and it means beauty in imperfection. So it comes from Zen Buddhism, and Japanese people incorporated it, adapted it to appreciate even impermanence and small mistakes. I think it's quite counterintuitive when you look at social problems in Japan, which revolves most of the time around perfection. But there is as well wabi-sabi, which comes from this Zen Buddhism that teaches people that not everything has to be perfect, and beauty doesn't lay in perfection. Beauty may lay in sadness as well, or with cracks, in the cracks. And there's also a beautiful word for beauty in the broken pieces. It's called kintsugi. Um, and the wabi-sabi and kintsugi, I think they come together often when Western people compare them to itself. And it basically teaches acceptance. Not everything has to be perfect. I wish that people uh, could think about it a little bit more and to see beauty in wrinkles. And for example, looking at your relatives, like your parents or your grandparents, and finding a history in their wrinkles and in their smile, and how the what Why they have wrinkles, for example, in their face, like maybe from smiling, and is it from aging, and what story is behind it? I think it's extremely beautiful, and I wish that more people could adapt that. The fourth habit that I wanted to talk about, mindfulness habit from that I wanted to talk about from Japan is Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku, colloquially speaking, means forest bathing. So it's like I have this flower, forest bathing. So it basically means that we need connection to nature and to the forest to find peace and happiness. So Shinrin-yoku was introduced by a Ministry of Forestry in Japan in 1980 to reduce stress and reconnect with nature. This term was designed to help people to be less busy or more connected to their true essence, because after the Second World War industrial boom, a lot of Japanese people were struggling with mental health, and I think until this day it's a big problem, especially with loneliness. In Japan there is even a minister of loneliness. I think it doesn't exist in many other countries, and that speaks for itself. A lot of people in Japan feel lonely because of overworking, and Shinrin-yoku is a beautiful practice where you just focus and ground yourself in the present moment, and you reconnect to your true human nature. I have been actually to Shinrin-yoku workshops that were held in Thailand, and it was such a beautiful way of reconnecting to yourself. It was about being mindful about the forest and just appreciating the beauty in the leaves or in the sound of sound of falling leaves, and like noticing different structures, noticing different patterns, maybe touching different structure, and how does it actually feel to touch my hair, for example, right now, or touching a leaf and trying to see what is the structure, and how does it feel like on my hand, and how do I feel by trying to connect to this. It's, I think a lot of us tend to completely forget what is our essence as humans, and we have to reconnect to nature much more. Guys, what do you think about this? I think it's so beautiful, and I really love this term, Shinrin-yoku, like forest bathing, and I hope more and more people will see that this is something that really gives us energy and peace in the end, not working several hours and leaving your family and earning money and just abandoning what we were made for. And we were made for connection. We were made for connection. Okay, the fifth one might be a little bit shocking or not shocking for you. It's fifth one is Ikigai. In the West, this term, and also what I learned at my university, I studied actually business administration and international management. We learn on this capitalistic study program that Ikigai is what you have to find. Like, it's not the reason for your life, the reason to live, but it's what kind of job you have to have in order to serve society. And this is wrongly interpreted. And I would like to make this correction. As me, Malvina, and living in Japan for several months. And I want to make sure that you have it right. Ikigai does not mean what you are good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what do you love. It's Ikigai. Iki means life, and gai means worth or value. And this term, Ikigai, also originates from Okinawa, and it refers to elderly Okinawan society that keeps staying active and helping society. So Ikigai simply is not a job or how you earn money. It can be as simple as reconnecting to the tree when you go outside, or sharing a meal with someone you love, or gardening can be your ikigai, or talking on YouTube can be your ikigai, or finding your purpose and trying to be a moonflower in a garden full of roses. This can be your ikigai, or petting your dog or petting your cat can be your ikigai. You know, it's as simple as this. And I think people should appreciate those simple moments because beauty lies in the moment. And if we don't live in the moment, if we don't live now, what do we live for? We are waiting for a better tomorrow, for a better job, for a better body, for better times. But we tend to not appreciate what we have right now. And I think mindfulness is all about being grounded in the moment and being here and now. And I think we humans tend to stay in this part of our body. I mean, like in our head. We tend to stay in our head. And we have to go down to our body and do some somatic work, which is proven to release trauma. And by staying in your head and thinking, oh, I'm sorry, by staying in your head and thinking too much, we will never make a good decision because we cannot reconnect to our essence, if that makes sense. So that was the last one. And if you like this video, please subscribe, give me a like, leave me a comment as well, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. See you. Bye bye.